Welcome to TMZ Live. Big developments in the case involving the singer David and the girl who was found dead in the trunk of his Tesla. Notably, we broke a lot of stories yesterday, but one of the big ones was we were able to talk to a teacher who taught Celeste Rivas and had a lot to say.
Yes, he opened up to his current class. Now, this teacher says he taught Celeste a couple of years ago when she was in middle school, but once he saw all the stories that we were breaking, he decided he wanted to share his information, his what happened when Celeste was in his class with his current class. So what you're about to see is the teacher doing a little show and tell with all he knows about Celeste and David and how they met.
That's her in my classroom in front of this poster right here. She's been missing since I taught her. So when I taught her, she met this dude on social media. He was a rapper in LA. He came and got her. She ran away from home. She was gone for like a month. The cops found her in Hollywood, brought her back to our school. She came back to our school, kind of told people this story. She disappeared again in May of that year. And then I found out yesterday that she's now dead in that rapper's car, cut into pieces. You want to know how they met? I feel like I just said it. Social media.
So he said, you know, it sounds like he was saying this, and we spoke to him, and it sounds like he was telling the class this almost as a cautionary tale about social media and going to social media. But in the process, it's interesting, he said she ran away in January, he came back, and then ran away again, or at least disappeared again.
And that tracks with what we had seen as far as missing, a missing children's poster that we saw. There was one earlier in the year, and then there was the one in May of 2024. So.
And we did confirm, too, that he was, in fact, a teacher at her school at that time when she used to go to school in Lake Elsinore. He is no longer a teacher there. So when he was referring to, oh, you see this photo of her with the poster, that's the poster here. So it's not his current school. He's now teaching in a different district.
I think that's why the video went so viral, too, is it kind of came across like he was kind of like clout chasing, being like, oh, look, she was in my class, but he cleared the air with us.
Well, honestly, we thought that when we saw the video, right? This was odd that this teacher was sort of bragging about his connection.
I'm still not sure
and then we talked to him to clear it up.
I'm still not sure that that's like a good conversation to have with your science middle school class, and that's why this was originally posted online, was because the students started filming him secretly because they're like, why are we having this conversation? But he felt like he wanted to tell his students to be wary on social media.
So there's a lot more to talk about. So we told you there was a search of the home that he appeared to have been staying in the Hollywood Hills. So we now find out that they were testing for blood. There's something called luminol, which can light up a floor.
Everyone's seen this on CSI.
Yeah.
That they spray it, and it, you know, allows them to see where, if there are traces of blood, even if it's been cleaned up.
So they were looking, you know, on the floors. They were looking in drains to see if there were any traces of blood. We don't know what the results of the search were, but it's significant because the Tesla that contained her body in the trunk was parked nearby. And so it seems like their working theory is she might have been killed in the house.
If she were killed or dismembered in the house and then placed in that car and parked, you know, what, a block and a half away.
Right, and we should say that the police have not named a suspect yet. The police have not named a person of interest yet, but that doesn't mean they don't have one. They got a search warrant, which means they clearly were able to show a judge that there was probable cause to believe a crime was committed. But the police have been playing this really close to the vest.
We also don't know what David's cooperation has been with cops. We were told early on he was cooperating with cops. Now it seems kind of unclear, but it is kind of interesting because...
Well, he's not talking to cops.
That's what we're hearing.
We now know, well, we've got it on pretty good authority. He's not talking to police.
Which you think is maybe normal, what an attorney would say to their client.
Of course. They just searched his house.
But I looked at it as, if you have nothing to hide, why would you not go to cops?
You don't look at it that way.
Once now he knows they've searched his house. He knows what they were looking for in his house. Anything he says
is incriminating.
But it is interesting, though, that now they have finally announced that the tour dates, he was supposed to perform in San Francisco. Is today the 19th?
Yeah,
or the 18th?
Tonight, San Francisco,
and then,
tomorrow,
no,
LA.
it was tomorrow at the Greek in
Right.
LA. Those have both been canceled. So he's not going to be performing.
Scrubbed from the Grammys.
Scrubbed from the Grammy Museum, which he was also supposed to have an appearance at
And
next
his album,
week.
and his
and
album.
he was supposed to be dropping a deluxe album with Interscope, who we now learned that they've pulled all that. So
I mean,
clearly he knows
yeah.
he has a lot going on.
Yeah, well,
It's not a good look to be on tour.
But the interesting thing is, the label is pulling all official promotion, and he's taken out of the Grammy Museum for this appearance. But there's still a lot of publicity around his name and his songs.
His streaming.
Well, that's not
It's
the only thing
streaming
that's been
through the
pulled,
roof.
though. We also reported this morning that those bloody shirts, the bloody clothings that were a part of his act and a part of some of his songs and the music videos, they're not available anymore.
Well, and it's interesting. The songs are, the titles of these songs are just romantic homicide, which, by the way,
is the
violent.
number one streaming song for him right now.
Right.
Coincidence, but a creepy one.
So we also got, look, a lot of people are wondering, what was the relationship between this 15-year-old girl and this 20-year-old guy? And this goes back maybe to when she was even 13 and he was 18.
Right.
So we were able to get some video of the two of them together. So we've seen photos, and now we've got video of
them on a live stream where they're interacting with some of his fans. It's a short clip, and so it's hard to make out what they're talking about. But at one point, he does say to the moderators of the chat that we should make sure when this is done, don't leave it up. So I don't know what was being said during the chat because we've only seen that brief clip.
Well, she's pointing at some comments. I think people were making comments. You can't tell which one she's pointing at, but clearly he
also don't know when this
he
is
didn't
from.
want this to be clipped and go out anywhere.
So the way this works is, sometimes the LAPD will be really open about an investigation, and they'll kind of lay out what they've got. They'll hold a press conference. They have done. They are holding this as close to the vest as just about any case I've ever seen.
And you're right, but it reminds me of the Brian Kohberger case where everybody was on the police saying, you are not giving us any information, you're bungling this case, and then they came out with a very airtight case, which resulted in no trial.
The difference with Kohberger is that with Kohberger, you didn't know anything about who may have done it. In this case, and I'm not saying he did because he is not a suspect yet, as far as we know, David, but people are looking at David. So I think it's different.
And Kohberger, we didn't know anybody at all. Right.
Anybody at all.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kamar from Atlanta. So my question would be, what else do they need to do to say, hey, he's now considered a suspect? Because we see the video, we've seen everything on social media, and then the teacher even did it. And
he's not a suspect unless they can tie him to the woman in the trunk and say he did it. Right. That's when he becomes a suspect.
The car was registered in his name, and I'm not saying
not enough.
That doesn't mean that he.
Somebody else could have put the body in.
Coming up.
The uproar over Jimmy Kimmel's suspension is growing on both sides, really.
The reality is the FCC stepped in and applied pressure.
Right.
And that's the issue right now.
Joining us right now to discuss this is Congressman Pat Harrigan. Congressman, welcome to TMZ Live.
Be right back.
The uproar over Jimmy Kimmel's suspension is growing on both sides, really. You had Jon Stewart coming back on his day off last night on The Daily Show to do a very funny send-up of what news is going to look like under President Trump's administration.
And on the other side, you have Gutfeld and others saying Jimmy Kimmel was canceled for low ratings. The reality is the FCC stepped in and applied pressure.
Right.
And that's the issue right now.
Yeah, and it is interesting. Since this has become such a big issue, there's a clip of the vice president speaking in February in Germany, and he was addressing, I believe, the EU. And listen to what he had to say about free speech.
In Washington, there is a new sheriff in town, and under Donald Trump's leadership, we may disagree with your views, but we will fight to defend your right to offer it in the public square, agree or disagree.
But that was February, and now we're in September.
Now it's September. So there are a lot of differing viewpoints about what should happen going forward. Should Jimmy Kimmel come back? Should he be allowed back? What should Disney do? Joining us right now to discuss this is Congressman Pat Harrigan, U.S. Congressman from North Carolina, who has been outspoken, feeling that what Jimmy Kimmel said on his show went too far. Congressman, welcome to TMZ Live.
Harvey and Charles, great to be with you. Thanks for having me.
We appreciate it. So I want to ask you, ABC can do whatever ABC wants on its own. I have no issue there. If they don't like it, they can give him the axe. But when the FCC says we can do this the easy way or the hard way, and they make it clear that there will be retaliation, retribution against ABC.
Licenses pulled.
I mean, I went to law school. I taught law school. That is such a clear violation in my head of the First Amendment. What say you?
I think it's all troubling, right? At the end of the day, I think it's troubling what he said. I think it was right for them to suspend Jimmy Kimmel for his comments. But I am of the perspective that if he gets taken off the air, it should be for a business decision and a business decision alone. We do have to be very protective of free speech in this country, always have to be vigilantly watchful of our freedoms, because as our forefathers have told us for eons, they can erode in less than a lifetime. And so I think you got to look at it. You've got to say, hey, look, if Jimmy Kimmel's ratings are down 50% over the last 4 years, it's got to be purely a business decision. And I think that's the only answer here.
So, Congressman, what would you say to the FCC chairman to go out and so boldly on camera make that statement that Harvey referred to? It really it muddies the waters now, and it certainly at least gives the appearance that these stations were pressured to remove Jimmy Kimmel's show from the air that night.
Yeah, I think we've got to kind of splice through a little bit of the noise, right? I think certainly his comments can be condemned. And I think the hundreds of thousands of social media posts and commentary that we've seen since the death of Charlie Kirk, Americans celebrating his death, particularly, and this is what I really have just a hard time understanding, is educators all across our country, the folks who are responsible for educating the next generation of Americans. We do have to be responsible and we have to be respectful of our words, but we also have to understand that we do have free speech in this country. I think that daylight is the very best disinfectant. Let's get those words out for everybody to see and come to their own conclusions. And ultimately, we've got to make business decisions here, not governmental decisions.
You know, you raised this issue of the people celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. Unforgivable, inexcusable. But at the same time, you just look at the culture right now. Remember when Nancy Pelosi's husband was attacked? I believe it was Donald Trump Jr. that put a tweet out or something on social media with a diaper, a hammer, and said, I think I figured out my Halloween costume this year. Isn't it kind of the same thing on both sides?
I don't think anybody is without sin here if we honestly step back and look at the bigger picture. I think what is troubling, particular to people on the right, is that we have a very specific pattern of left-on-right violence at some of the highest levels of government. And whether that's Steve Scalise with the baseball shooting back in 2017, whether that is the multiple assassination attempts on Donald Trump, or whether now we have the assassination of Charlie Kirk, I think what's really sad about this entire situation, probably the saddest thing about it, is that we all just watched last week the next generation of Americans, the hope and the faith that we have in the future of our country, take themselves out. We had Charlie Kirk, an absolutely phenomenal human being, had met him and worked with him on multiple occasions. He had everything going for him. He was a light for this country. And really, he was a mediator for the two sides. He was encouraging, bringing that talk out into the public square.
He was for
and
free
inviting
speech.
the other side to bring
speech.
theirs. That's exactly right. And saying, hey, look, come defend your side if you could. And I never saw anybody able to defend against Charlie Kirk. That's what made him so special. But then to have him taken out in a violent act was completely antithetical to everything that he ever stood for. I think we have to recognize that. Simultaneously, we got this young kid who was taken over by the culture, ended up pulling this trigger, came from a great family, but just went absolutely haywire. And you just look at, he just ruined his life, the lives of all of his family members, certainly assassinated Charlie Kirk, killed a husband, killed a father. And you just look at this next generation wiping itself out in this. We've got to stop this. It can't continue. Our country will rip itself apart if we keep going down this road.
Yeah.
You know, on Air Force One, on the way back from Europe, Trump was saying that, 97% of what the media says is hating Trump, and he's sick of it, and he wants to stop it. And that aligns with what this FCC chairman is saying. It feels like the FCC chairman is taking his cue from Donald Trump. And I just think back, I don't have to think back very far, but in particular, Bill Clinton, when he was involved in that sexual scandal with Monica Lewinsky, he was annihilated every night on late night television. So under that theory, Jay Leno should have been taken off, and all the other late night hosts should have been taken off. That's what late night comedians do. They did it to Jimmy Carter. They did it to George Bush. They did it to Bill Clinton. They did it to Lyndon Johnson. My entire life, they did it to the person in power. And it was always accepted until now. What's different?
I think that there's a different level of vitriol towards Donald Trump. And that's across the board. And we've had this since he came on the political scene back in 2015. He's never had the same shake that anyone else has been afforded in politics. Now, that's not to say that you can't make fun of the guy. You can't call a spade, that we cannot honestly hold to account the folks who are representing our government at whatever level they might be. But I do think very clearly Donald Trump has been treated in a very different way. And the way that that has ultimately created outcomes in this country is that people have tried to kill him. And they're going to continue to try to kill him because the level of vitriol towards this man is off the charts, unlike any other president has ever had to experience.
That's not true. George Bush, I remember Lyndon Johnson during the Vietnam War. I remember Richard Nixon during the Vietnam War. They were treated in a very similar way. And Jimmy Carter, for not being a good president, although he was great afterward, he was not a good president, and he was taken apart too.
But more recently, all the things that were said about President Biden during his term.
Right.
Regardless whether it's right or you can't say that he wasn't destroyed for his appearances, public appearances.
But Harvey and Charles, I think what you have to look at is you've got to say that there's a different level of venom towards Donald Trump than there was even against George Bush, who I was alive to see, right? I wasn't old enough when President Clinton was going through everything. But with George Bush, they were making fun of him largely every single night. And I thought that was distasteful. Some of it was funny. Some of it may have even been true. But with Donald Trump, they're calling him a racist, a fascist, a misogynist. They're calling him a threat to democracy. You have to understand that there's a different level of outcome that comes from these types of characterizations that ultimately is leading to increased violence in our country. That is what I think we're talking about here. But that being said, look, I'm in agreement with you guys. We have to protect free speech. We have to protect all of the freedoms that we enjoy in this country. If we're not vigilant about them, we will lose them.
I have to just say, finally, to be speaking with a congressman who just said to us that he wasn't old enough to remember Bill Clinton, you have ruined my day. Just ruined my day.
I just talked with Newt Gingrich this week, and let's just say I learned a lot about an era where I didn't have memories. So,
listen, we hope you have a safe flight,
Harrigan,
and thanks so much for your time.
joining us.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys. Great to be with you.
Really appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, be safe.
Coming up.
There is a new documentary in theaters today all about Ye. It is called From Kanye to Ye, In Whose Name? And it really gives you a window into what it was like to live with Kanye West at this time.
It doesn't matter! It doesn't matter! Be right back.
TMZ's got every freaking thing. Big celebs, big stories, big events.
BB Rexa was looking hot on vacation.
Look at the water, too. Did you just say, look at the water?
I mean, I'll be honest, that is what I was looking at.
TMZ!
There is a new documentary in theaters today all about Ye, Kanye West. In fact, it is called From Kanye to Ye, In Whose Name? And it features a lot of behind the scenes footage of Kanye over the last 7 years or so, and seeing his interactions with people that he's working with, this confrontation with Michael Che you're seeing here, and also his family members. In particular, we're about to show you a clip where he is complaining about how he's talking to Kris Jenner about how the internet is reacting to things he's saying and doing. And it really gives you a window into what it was like to live with Kanye West at this time. I believe this is 2000.
It's probably like 2017. Like
2017.
Right after he got hospitalized.
Got it. All right, so right after his hospitalization. Watch this.
I'd rather be dead than to be on medication. No one from the family has taken any responsibility for my hospital visit, but if we were to go online, that's 50% of what people say at least. Or maybe, am I lying?
It doesn't matter.
Am I lying? It do matter! It does matter! It does matter!
Ordinarily, you just said, I have to finish the sentence.
It does matter!
It matters to us and you. It doesn't matter what the internet says. It matters what we think. Yay.
So what do you think? Did you have an effect on my mental health?
Yes. 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 I'm saying yes. And I love you. I love you. I don't want you to be not perfect. I love you. And I want my daughter to love you the way you want her to love you.
You know, I gotta say,
raw.
I know
That
something
is raw.
about this. This is after Kanye had a complete mental breakdown, was committed at UCLA's psych ward. They were doing everything they could, the Kardashians, to right the ship here. And, you know, it's like when somebody is going through an episode like this, they are trying to calm it down, and you can just see it's interesting. He put it out. They just were powerless.
It is incredibly painful and difficult for the person going through it, and also for the people around them who are usually trying to help them, but it's just they don't always see it that way, and it is.
You know, I haven't talked about this publicly, but I do know something, and I think enough time has passed. Kim wanted to divorce Kanye long before she actually filed, but she didn't want to do it while he was going through an episode and delayed it for a long time. I'm not talking a week or a month, a long time, because it was going to affect the family, and she dealt with it, but wouldn't pull that, the ripcord until much after she wanted to.
It really shows you a glimpse of how Kanye really got to this point. You know, it was just like the unraveling of the beginning of the end.
He is involved in the production of this. Obviously, this footage is.
He greenlit. You know, it's an independent filmmaker, but he let this guy follow him for the last 6-7 years, and it doesn't seem like they cut anything out.
No, and and I will say, and again, just kind of a behind the scenes thing. I think a lot of people know what happened when he came into our office once.
2018, May 1st.
And started talking about slavery and all. I had gone to his house 2 days before because I wanted to make sure that we weren't going to put him on and we weren't going to see an episode.
That he was okay. And I remember when you left his house, you called me. We had a conversation.
Literally, as I pulled out of the driveway.
Right.
He seemed fine.
Hi, my name is Angie and I'm from the UK. Now, I think where it actually went wrong for Kanye West was when he got involved with the Kardashian family. The moment he got involved with Kim, that is when his life completely started falling apart. And I think it does actually matter, as the Kardashians did let him down and pretty much let him be and fed him to the wolves.
I really disagree with you.
This
is mental illness. He has a mental illness, and that's not a slight on him. It's just a fact. And the Kardashians didn't create that. And if anything, Kim tried supporting him for a long, long, long time. And I'm not a Kardashian apologist.
Right.
But that's
it's just
the way
a very difficult situation for any family, any person who's dealing with, and for the individual especially, to be dealing with that kind of mental illness.
Absolutely.
Coming up.
A big development in a case we told you about, about a month ago. this really horrific video of Rajah Jackson, who's the son of Rampage Jackson. So Rajah Jackson was arrested.
I would not be surprised if he charges him with attempted murder.
Be right back.
Welcome back to TMZ Live. A big development in a case we told you about, about a month ago. This really horrific video of Rajah Jackson, who's the son of Rampage Jackson, in a professional wrestling bout where he snapped. I don't know how else to describe it. Obviously, this was a choreographed professional wrestling bout, but he decided to go off script and
you could see by that body
beating
slam
the hell out of his opponent.
He almost killed Psycho Stu. I mean, let me just say, Psycho Stu would be dead if they didn't pull him off.
I think I
he
agree
was
with
almost
you. I
dead
agree.
the way it was.
Well, the district attorney here in LA agrees. So Rajah Jackson was arrested for what you just saw there. That's the new development.
He's been booked for felony battery. And there are a lot of people, frankly, myself included, who thought more appropriate would be attempted murder because he is a trained fighter. His hands are deadly weapons. He knew what he was doing when he was pummeling this guy in the face. And he was willing to keep doing it until the guy died.
I see your point. I mean, it's one thing if you hit him 2-3 times and then got up.
22 times. 22 punches to the face after body slamming him in a way that you wouldn't do in professional wrestling, right?
Correct, yeah. I mean, you could see that he picked him up, and normally you let your back take the brunt of it when you're trying to throw him down. He put him on his head.
On his head.
And knocked him unconscious.
So here's the thing. The DA has not made a decision yet on the case. No. So the DA could do one of 3 things. Not charge him at all, charge him with the crime for which he was arrested, which is felony battery, or up it to attempted murder. Right. We don't know what the DA is going to do here. Yeah. But this is a DA who
the DA is not going to. The one you can eliminate option number 1.
Yeah, he's not going to drop it.
He's definitely not going to drop it.
I would not be surprised if he charges him with attempted murder. Now the problem with that is you don't overcharge.
Exactly, and boy, it just seems like it might be hard to prove it because now you're talking about getting in the guy's mind, right?
Well, but that's every case. You have to get in the mind of a criminal, and sometimes it's more obvious than another.
It's just hard to say premeditation he was supposed to be in that.
It doesn't have to be premeditation. It can still be murder if you show intent to kill. And when you punch 22 times and you are going to keep doing it on an unconscious person and you know the power of your fists, I'm sorry, but I think they could get a conviction.
Johnny Benitez, Brooklyn, New York, what he did was absolutely horrible. And it is kind of commendable, I guess, how his father is holding him accountable. I've seen even in the interview, the father said that he's not in communication. Even in the article, it suggested maybe have some jail time, some community service. Because a lot of the time, parents will have a blind eye when it's with somebody that they care about. But what we saw, it just seemed like inexcusable on camera. And to be honest, it kind of looked like the PTSD or like the shell shock that some like soldiers returning from war go to. I remember I saw like a scene like in Peaky Blinders where one of the main characters are like attacking in the middle of a boxing match and he can't take himself off of this guy. And this kill switch or just giving somebody the grace after like knocking them down just doesn't exist. And that scene the same way it kind of existed with Rajah Jackson. And I'm wondering like what kind of trauma or what could have caused like this kind of kill switch to just come on in or inside of him. It doesn't make like a lot of sense. I wonder like behind the scenes, what could have really happened?
Well, it seems like he was pissed off because before that,
there'd been a confrontation.
There had been a confrontation and you could see they exchanged words. He was pissed at the guy.
Yeah. Well, now that the cat's out of the bag or the baby's out of the, it's a bad metaphor.
Move on.
But now that we all know about Cardi B and Stefan Diggs expecting their first child together, he's getting kind of romantic. Surprised Cardi with a big delivery. See what I did there? A delivery. Because she's going to deliver. And he delivered flowers. By the way,
he may have delivered something else too.
Yeah. There's more to this than just the giant flower display. By the way, today is the day her album is dropped. Am I the Drama? So, speaking of drama,
Speaking of dropping.
Am I the drama?
And speaking of dropping.
Stefan's like, no, it's not you, Cardi. I'm the drama.
So,
yeah. I mean, we knew he had an 8-year-old child, but he also may have a child that's a few months old.
Right.
Because on May 11th, the day before Cardi B and Stefan Diggs hard launched a relationship at that Knicks and Celtics playoff game, when everyone said, wow, they're a big couple, Stefan Diggs was seen holding a car seat with a baby outside of a New York City hospital. While that is all happening, there is a model named Lord Giselle who is in a paternity battle with Stefan Diggs, where he's saying, hey, I don't know if I'm the father to this baby. It's unclear if...
So he's not denying that there's a possibility he's the father.
Exactly.
He's just saying, I don't know.
Right. Now
And so what's the car seat baby thing then?
Well, right.
Just being helpful. Right. Just lending a helping hand.
He's a nice guy.
You know?
He's a nice guy. So I guess the question is, did Cardi know about this?
My guess is yes.
My guess is she knows now. She knows. Did she know on
May 12th?
Knows
now.
I don't know, but she.
And would she be upset? I mean, it's pre-Cardi. Well,
it's around the same time. Because
So-
go back 9 months from May, they had kind of been linked together late 2024. So I think it's very close to timing.
But they may not have been
before
exclusive.
Exactly.
Right.
Right, they might not have been exclusive.
No, that's exactly
You know what?
Right, we're not saying he did anything
she
wrong.
was with someone before. She got kids.
There's an answer to everything, folks.
Coming up.
Well, the rideshare wars have reached a new level. Used to be, you'd open up your phone and you look at your apps. Do I go Uber? Do I go Lyft? Now the new level is robo rideshares. Which one do you want? There's a lot of money here, and you know what that means.
We follow the money.
We follow the money. Go to our buddy Damon John.
Be right back.
Well, the rideshare wars have reached a new level. Used to be, you'd open up your app, your phone, and you look at your apps. Do I go Uber? Do I go Lyft? Do I go? Well, now the new level is robo rideshares. Which one do you want? Do you want to get Waymo, which is going out to more parts of the country? We have it here in LA.
It's everywhere.
These are the automated cars where there's no driver.
They're so cool.
You order it, you get in, and you don't have to talk to the driver, and the self-driving car takes you where you want to go. Now, Waymo's getting some competition from Tesla, which kind of makes sense because that's the whole thing about Tesla has been their automated driving cars, right? The people who buy them want to use them. So why not get into the rideshare business? But are they getting in too late? There's a lot of money here, and you know what that means.
We follow the money.
We follow the money. Go to our buddy Damon John, normally from Shark Tank, but today he is a minor league baseball player.
Very minor because there are no other players in the field.
No other players
Well,
or fans.
you know,
or fans.
Guys, when you got gout, you don't make it to the major league.
Nah.
You know.
It's not a rule, but yeah, I mean, generally speaking.
I'm just going out to fish later on today at the Oakland Bowlers. But, I was in, San Francisco last night. Waymo's riding around. It is not too late. We are just at the beginning stage. But, follow the money. I called it in April that people should invest in Tesla when everybody was mad. And I called it because I saw that they're creating these patterns. Imagine how many Teslas out there. They have the grid. It was around $250 when I called it. It's now at $423, the stock. So that's about a 70% return on your capital. You would have gotten 5% if you put it at the bank. But, here's what Tesla's doing. They're saying, listen, once you buy a car in a couple of years, your car is going to drop you off at work, and then it's going to go and make money for you and come back home. And I think that that's an interesting concept. And I think that there's a lot of room and a lot of growth here for, for the car companies as well as for us who it's getting more expensive to own a car, parking, gas.
That's really interesting because, on the one hand, you could say that people will buy a Tesla so that they can use it to make money. But I think most people are just going to say, I don't even want a car anymore. That it's just so much easier to do something like this. When you need it, you go. And when you don't have to pay insurance, you don't have to pay gas, you don't have to deal with all that stuff. So to me, there's going to be a limited number of people involved in the car business, and everybody else is just going to be a consumer.
It's going to be rideshare.
Yeah.
I agree. I think we're going. I mean, when I think about it these days, I don't want a car either. You know, when I am home, if it's not the 250 days I travel a year, do I really want to deal with who's going to clean the car? Where am I going to park it?
Right.
You know, my cars are sometimes pretty expensive if it's not my pickup truck. And then I got the valet guy trying to, hey, you want me to put it in front? Hey, we don't take, we don't take credit cards. They're trying to rob me. It's just too much of a pain. I think that, and also listen, when we're talking about my daughters and stuff like that, when you see, New York and a lot of these cities is crazy, I want to put them in a vehicle, but now I don't have to worry about an Uber driver. Nothing wrong with Uber drivers, but now I know it's in a vehicle where I can monitor them. It's safe. You know, I think this is where we're going. I think it's better for all of us. And when you follow the money, whether it's your personal pockets, whether you're saving money there, or you're making money investing in any of these companies.
So, Damon, I saw a study that said that Waymo, their accident rate is like 80% lower than a human-driven cars, for the accident rate for human-driven cars. That's got to be because they have the data that these cars are operating off of, and the technology is that good. And I guess that's my point. Tesla is now jumping into this a couple years after Waymo has been started. Does Waymo have a big enough head start technology-wise and just city data-wise that can Tesla make up the ground there?
I think Tesla can, because when you're putting a satellite in space every week, I think you probably have a good amount of technology around you. But I think that also that all of the Teslas that have existed for the last whatever years, 5, 10 years, we have created the pattern, the driving patterns around. So now you have that. Then you have all these new sensors and cameras that are going to be put in, and I'm sure you're going to be able to get into the grid. I do believe that Tesla will catch up fairly quickly, and I think that it's going to have a good advantage. But I do think that there's room for 3 and 4. You know, when we started, there was Chevy and Ford and this and that company. So I do believe that there's enough room for all of us in this market, and there's going to be a lot of other things coming out, such as scooter type of smaller transport vehicles, these one man and one woman vehicles that are also going to operate, and then just wait until one operator. Drone type of things are going to come out right now that they're testing. So we are in the craziest time ever. And by the way, I do own Tesla, and I'm going to buy some Waymo as well.
Smart man. That's how you follow the money.
Hope you're able to stretch during the 7th inning.
Get the arm loose.
I am, and
get your
by
arm
the way,
loose, man.
I'm told that Too Short is a partial owner of this team. What's my favorite word? I can't say that word.
We're not using that word here. We're not using that word here. Thanks, Damon. We'll see you next time, man.
You got it.
Coming up.
There's this really famous house that Brad Pitt bought a few years back, and that house has now been sold, and it's been sold to another really
good-looking actor.
Good-looking star.
Be right back.
I am really into architecture in LA, of which a lot of people say there is very little, but there is some. And there's this really famous house that Brad Pitt bought a few years back, and that house has now been sold, and it's been sold to another really
good-looking actor.
Good-looking star, right?
Apparently
Austin Butler bought it. So Brad bought this in 2023.
It's such a cool
This
house.
is actually the house. We covered this a lot.
It's the Steel House.
It's the Steel House, but more recently, it was the house that got burglarized. It was broken into. So Brad wasn't living at this home at the time. He was actually in the process of selling it when it got burglarized.
Right.
So he sold it off market for $5.2 million. I mean, it's a really cool house. Has a lot of history. There's been a lot of celebrities who have lived in this house.
It's just architecturally, it's like a 50s, 60s.
It was built in the
ranch.
60s, so it kind of has that vibe. I know you were interested to know because Brad is known for redoing
Brad
his
is
homes.
considered probably the best non-architect architect in Hollywood. He's really amazing. He's got this incredible talent. Incredible talent. So I don't know what he did. I mean, these are pictures before Brad bought
Yeah,
it.
so we reached out to people that were involved in this listing. They actually never took new photos. These are when Brad first bought it.
Right.
So we don't know what he did to the inside, but you seem to think he probably did something.
I think he did, yeah. Because this
Because
he
usually what
flipped this.
Yeah, what he usually does is he'll buy a place and then.
And he doesn't do it for
his
money,
own-
really. He
puts
does
his
it
own
because
touch
he
on it.
just loves architecture.
Well, he had
and
bought a
designing.
different house recently in LA.
Right. But they sold it for $5.2 million?
5.2. He bought it for 5.5.
So he lost
technically
money on it.
lost money.
Well, he
on
did
it.
lose money on
Yeah, for sure.
But
good for Austin Butler.
Good for Austin
Technically,
Butler.
he lost money. You mean as mathematically he lost money?
Yes.
Good job, Devin.
Thank you.
Hi, Gloria, New Jersey. What a good buy for this young man, Austin Myers. And as you just stated, he's a very good-looking young man and a beautiful house for a beautiful young man. This young man, I see, is going to be more of a superstar than Brad Pitt once
Well, that's
was.
a high bar. That is a high bar. By the way, you are a bold lady with that orange. That is in-your-face orange. I like it, and I like it. I like it.
Listen to Brad Pitt in training over here.
What else you guys want to talk about?
Jenna in Chicago, and I think we should all take a page out of Jon Stewart's book right now and just use sarcasm moving forward. So I'm going to give it a go. Everything is fine. We absolutely do not need to worry about our First Amendment rights being taken away, as long as we're making the big orange guy in charge look good. But seriously, it's not fine. I mean, it's fine. It's fine, guys. We're fine. We're fine.
It's hard to stick to that script, isn't it?
We're
A little bit. We're fine.
It's totally fine.
We're fine.
Nothing to worry about.
Okay, one more.
Erica from Connecticut and Stefan Diggs surprising Cardi B. I love it. I love Cardi B. She is so deserving of that. She is loud, over the top.
Is it messy is what we want to know. Is it messy?
Is it messy? Absolutely not. No. The album's dropping. She has a baby on the way. I mean, they have a baby on the way. No. It's I'm excited to see how they close out the year.
What if he has babies on the way?
No comment.
Coming up.
All right, we're going now to our Swifty desk.
Yes.
Because Harvey and I don't really understand.
Swifty desk.
She's going in the movie theaters. She's releasing her first single and the music video for it. But here's the thing. Is she going to show up to a theater?
Be right back.
All right, we're going now to our Swifty desk.
Yes.
Because Harvey and I don't really understand.
Swifty desk.
She's going in the movie theaters. She's releasing her first single and the music video for it.
First single from an upcoming album.
Yes.
And
the
the song
Fate of
is?
Ophelia.
In
it's
a
going
movie-
to be
in a movie theater.
Yes. It's going to go 89 minutes long. It has been
How is it 89 minutes
what?
with a single?
Because you're going to see behind the scenes of making the album, of making everything. She just and that's what I'm hoping for, because it says behind the scenes. But it's October 3rd, 4th, and 5th in select theaters, and it's been so hard to get tickets.
The day the album drops.
Is the 3rd, yes.
So you buy the album,
really
you go to the
smart.
movie theater,
It's
you have
so
the whole
smart.
experience, a sing-along, and
But here's the thing. Is she going to show up to a theater? And I think she is.
Oh my gosh, she is.
Of course
you have
she
to
is.
pick the right theater.
Oh.
It was the Grove last time,
how
so
many
it's not going
theaters?
to be the Grove. It's all over. It's all over.
Why would you
Why
do
don't
it
you
in Kansas
pick
City?
like Indiana?
No.
Yeah, it's not going to be in LA. That's
not
too
gonna
on
be
the
in LA,
nose. That's
because
too on
she
the
did
nose.
LA before.
Right.
She's got to spread it out. So you need to go.
I need to see when the Chiefs are playing. If they were playing that weekend, it's probably going to be one in Kansas City.
That's what she wants to make you think.
All right, let's go home.
Have a good weekend.